Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have this time now an instrument cluster from a Land Rover LR3 2007. This is coming from Texas, so this is going to be the normal video that I usually do for the customers, where I show you connections. Well, in this case, I have plenty of videos for that, so I will show you the process that I do to test before and after, trying to reproduce the normal concerns on this cluster. Sometimes they react in here. It's an intermittent, right? So sometimes we can catch it on the video, and sometimes I have to take the cluster actually apart to check and see these older components, which are usually the resistors, the main microprocessor, and the memories. I also resolder the connector and replace all capacitors and diodes as normal, because I gave a 1-year warranty, a limited mileage. This is from a shop, Garage Guys Automotive. Abdul, this is your cluster, so yeah, we're going to be doing that today. I have, as normal, the connections, or not the connections, the camera ready to go, so you can see that is the information from the customer. I got here the 28th, which is yesterday, and I'm working on it today. Today's Sunday. And again, Sundays is my own discretional time, and I do whatever I want, right? So it's not like if you send your part got here yesterday, I have to work on yours today. No, I actually try to get the quickest one today out, like that. I can manage a little better during the week. I have a lot of work. Thank you all for your support. If you're here in the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. That really helped my small business and my channel growth. Every time you subscribe, YouTube promotes more and more and suggests more of my videos. It's for free, and that helped me a lot. So thank you so much for that. Blessings. All right, so if you have any instrument clusters or computers for repair, the same name as in my channel here, Mike Salazar Diagnostics, just add the .com and you can find me in the web. I will also put in the title of this on this video the website, so you can copy and paste it, because it's not a hyperlink, but you can copy and paste it for that. All right, let's do this. So I got the top done ready. So the top down is powered up, but I got to power up the cluster. So let me power up. It's powering up. Let's see how many miles it has. 174, 131. All right, let's connect. Since we don't have the entire vehicle here, we're going to go and select Land Rover. So European vehicles, Land Rover. This is pretty much the same as in top down and Autel. A Snap-on. I think it has all mixed up. I forgot. I don't use the Snap-on so much for European because it's very weak. You cannot do any of this with a Snap-on, I think. And I have them also. All right, so we're going to select this. This is going now to connect to the Bluetooth, even though I think it was already connected, but it's going to check for the MBCI Pro. I think it's named on the Phoenix Max. I'm very happy with this tool. I've been using it for almost 3 years. No complaints. Very, very strong tool. Fully recommended. All right, we're going to do a manual selection. In this case, I usually use the Discovery because they're all the same cluster, so Discovery 3. And I can select in here any of these ones because the cluster fits almost all of them. So I usually select the B8 Petrol, because this is what this is in this car. It's a B8 4.4. And we can see that, hopefully you can see that right here, 4.4 liters. A little far away, but is there. And I think I have the bin in there. Yes, it says 428312. We can see that later when we enter the cluster. And we do the vehicle information. So instrument cluster is IPC. We're going to enter that. And version information. Let's see if we can read the VIN number, which is a good sign that at least the cluster is talking. So 428312, 428312, that is correct. The mileage or odometer value is, I don't know what those numbers are in top down. I'm not sure if that's even correct, but it might be just a value, not the actual mileage. It's like a binary value, I think. All right, so we're going to actuation tests. In the meantime that we're doing this, while I'm doing this, it's just trying to see if the cluster reacts in here before opening it up, and also to see if the needles, all the gauges, are working back and forth. Normal repairs, as I described in the beginning of the video, is to resolder all the loose components, replace diodes and capacitors, and resolder the connector. That is what the normal repair for this cluster is. It is included in the price that I give always to my customers. If a stepper motor is damaged or stepper motors, that is not included on the quote, and then I need to contact the customer to approve that. But it's not really common, and that's why I don't include it. These stepper motors are really, really good. I haven't replaced probably one or two in like over 400 instrument clusters that I have repaired so far. All right, let's go down to the tests. We're going to start in the tachometer. Very weird on this software for Tap Done. When we go over to the tachometer, it goes up to like 102%. So I can go on to 51%. You cannot go into 102 because there is no 102% on the gauge. It's 100%. So that is a very weird reading that gets in here. They have not corrected this in any of the updates. So yeah, as you can see right there, 51%. We're going to do the needle test. And then it is reading 51%, which is 4,000 and a little bit more, right? Even if I increase it right here, right now, let me just try to do that. Well, let me try to go to 102%. You see negative response from ECU, so that is no good. If I decrease it and I click a start, you see it went from to the 89.25. So again, it's a negative response because it's an implausible command. There is no 102%. So that is an error on the software, on the scanner. But we can see that is working good. So we're going to release it and wait for the needle to come back smoothly. And we see that, right? So we're going to do the fuel gauge next. I'm just going in the order that I have it on the scanner. And this is the way that you can do it on your car if you have a scanner that is capable of doing that. And if you're a technician, you should do this when you're condemning instrument cluster. Is it the cluster that's failing, or is it something else? If you have a gauge that is not reading, let's say you're a temperature, a speedometer, or etc., any of the gauges, and you can command it with the scanner, the problem is not on the gauge. The problem is because all of these are pretty much messages, and that's what I can command them on. The fuel level is not, it's a direct wire, and we can go into wiring. Let me actually show you the wiring. All right, guys, I got it ready. So let me get the Phoenix out of the way so you can see that a lot better. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little more so you can see the signals, and I'm going to get something so you can see where I'm pointing. All right, so these are, this in here is the instrument cluster. I'm going to scroll down to the connection so we can see I have, mark powers and grounds and some of the signals that I used to connect in here. And you can check that because this is the test that you should do if you have a failing cluster. You want to check the communication lines, you want to check the powers and grounds, make sure they're all good. So we got grounds on pin 31 and 32, ignition in pin 15, battery voltage on pin 16, can high and can low, medium speed on pin 17 and 18, and high speed can is in pin 1 and 2. Illumination, if I want to, usually do it with a scanner, is on pin 5. You can select that signal. But the rest, like I said, everything is a message on the bus, except for the fuel tank, like the fuel gauge itself. We can see that it's coming to here. So those signals go into these wires in pin 12 and 13. We do have an engine coolant level sensor, but it's level, not temperature, right? So this is just a level to make sure the coolant in the reservoir is not low. Again, everything else, brake fluid level, so level sensors are connected in here. We got a parking brake and so on, but none of the other messages, like again, temperature, speedometer, and tachometer, they're all CAN bus messages. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you. All right, let's go back into the test. So we were here. Let's do the fuel gauge, which is in the small gauges, the one on the right side, right where that yellow light is, right here. Okay. And we're going to go over to 50%. In these ones, I can go into 50%. Again, I'm trying to also stall a little time to see if the cluster reacts in here. All right, 50%. And we can see that it's a little on the low side, but I also like to see that because by age or due to age, these needles are going to go into that point, and I don't like to change those. I actually going to exactly come back to the same point. Why? Because this is very unique to each vehicle. If I go into 50% and just put it all on 50% when you connect it to the car with your fuel level sensor, it will go probably when it's in half a tank, it's going to go a little higher. So I try to always match what you have. And when I take apart the cluster, I mark those positions myself to make sure that they go back to where they were before. All right, so let's go over to 100%. We can see that, and then we're going to exit to see the needle coming down, and it did come down very nice and smoothly. We're going to do the same thing with the coolant temperature. It's already in full. This is a thermistor. So thermistors are, like what it says, it's a thermal sensor that is biased by a resistor inside of it. So what this does is sends a signal, like let's say at 5 volts, 3.5 volts. It's just a voltage, right? That is going to reach that variable resistor, and it changes the resistance based on temperature. So the less resistance, the closest to ground. The more resistance, the less ground is going to provide to that signal. When it's the less ground, we are going to see what is happening. Right now, we are not grounding the signal, so the gauge goes up to full. And that's completely normal for thermistors. Same thing as if you read the scanner read on a coolant temperature sensor, it usually goes even too high. But it's also negative values and some other, or two types of thermistors. One that goes high and the other one that goes low. On this Land Rover is the one that when it's unplugged, it will read full. All right, since we're there, I'm going to go to 0, so if we can go all the way to the maximum first. Or to the lowest part, sorry. And we can see that moving good. We're going to go into 50% now to see where the 50% is. And that is pretty close to 50. I am picking up the half a tank line that I have in there, and I can see that it is a little lower. It's the same thing as in the fuel gauge. So that's something I need to take in consideration when I, again, set the needles. And at last, we're going to do the speedometer. All right, we're going to go over to 50%. Yeah, that's looking pretty good at 12 o'clock. And let's go over to 100%. All good. And release. And so all the stepper motors are working properly. Calibration is going to be something I just need to take in consideration when I do it. But yeah, this is one of those clusters that even though I'm trying to make it react, it's not happening in here, and it's not uncommon. Remember, we don't have everything connected onto these clusters in here. Some are so bad that it reacts, and if you go and watch the one for I think Blake didn't react, but the one before Blake, which is I think I did 3 this week, the one before Blake, it react right here. It was just dying and coming back, and what I call the gremlins. All right, but that is not the case on this one, so I'm going to take it apart. And this is what I describe to the customers always before you send one of these instrument cluster. If you expect to see always a reaction in here, it might not be the case. I need to open it up, and if that's the case, I will proceed with the repairs. Because sometimes it's not something that I can reproduce in a video. It's going to be just loose components, and I don't show that because obvious reasons. I don't want to teach others to do what I do. All right, guys, so let me take this apart, and I'll be right back. Testing, unless something very major is inside the board. I might even, open the video again so you can see what is completely apart, but not showing the repair. Okay, be right back. Hey guys, well, yes, as an update for Abdul and all of you too, yes, definitely the cluster needed to be, repaired properly. There is a lot of desolder or pads and little components. I had done the other side already, and this is how I do it. I apply the remover for the it's kind of like a resin or a mix of an epoxy, clear epoxy or something that they put into a lot of components. It's good because, almost 20 years on this case, but still under that, they come desoldered. So it's just a pain in the butt to remove that. I have a remover that I use. So what I do is I apply it, turn around, do older desolder or solder, resolder on the other side, which is no epoxy. And then when I come back, this side looks pretty good. And hopefully you can see here, these actually this time work out really well. The components are almost 100% clean. This one I still need a little bit. I am applying it on this side, but all the rest is already done and it's looking good. So I can work on the component itself. You can see the shadow of the fluid in here, but the rest, it looks gray like in here because it's already completely removed. So I'm very, very good. I already resoldered all these. I still need to replace the capacitors, but everything else is going good. All right, guys, just a short update. All right, guys, the repairs are done, and we're going to do the same thing. I need to get the scanner here. I can use it through the window in the in the team viewer, but I have found that sometimes it's very slow doing it that way. So let me power the cluster up. Right, everything is looking good, and as you can see, it looks now pristine, clean. I polish the glass as best as possible. I'm going to exit. I'm going to reconnect. Same process as before, right? Selecting line rubber and everything. I like to do this live so we can all see that it's a new connection and everything is working well. I have customers say, so you know what? I didn't see the connection. I'm trying to, show that I'm doing everything, but some people have their own rules. So yeah, remember, this is my doing, not a rule, not a, I don't know, like if you don't see something, that means the cluster is bad. Now, I always triple check everything. Yes, I'm human, it can fail, but in this case, it's pretty hard that, I miss anything because I am 4 times double checking everything with a microscope, make sure that all pins are soldered, checking, double checking, triple checking. So yeah, this is my quality test, not for a customer to tell me what should have been done. You know what I mean? Because yeah, there's a lot of customers that request very abnormal things that's just not possible. All right, we're going to enter here. I'm going to read the bean one more time, vehicle information. That is just to confirm communication. And yeah, 428312. 428312. Yep, that is correct. All right, we're going to go to actuation tests. Same thing as before, right, guys? So you don't want to watch this, you can stop the video, but this is for a test after repairs. You can see how it's done because I'm going a little fast because you guys just saw this minutes ago. For me, this being an hour or so after, right? So that is just the way it is. I'm going to go over to the 51%. Perfect. Let's go over to the highest I can, which is 89.25. And that is good. So position and response of the needle is good in here. Let's do the field gauge. I'm going to go over to 50%. Perfect. And we can see that it's just a little snitch before 50%. So I'm matching exactly what this cluster has before. Again, age is very specific to each car. I'm not going to make this look like new because it might not follow what the car has and it would not be accurate. All right, let's go to 100%. Perfect. You see the immediate response. So that's a very nice response from the stepper motors. Temperature. Let's do the 0 first. Yep. 1 to 5. Start. Nice and smooth. Now let's go 50%. Perfect. And you can see again, just a snitch lower than the actual
50 or half a tank. That's exactly what we got before. We're going to release it and nice and smooth going up. And then the last speedometer, we're going to go 50. Perfect at 12 o'clock. Let's go to 100%. And we can see that 100%. And then that. All right, so everything is working good as it's supposed to. All right, Abdul, your cluster is now fully repaired. It definitely needed repair. I mean, it was some of the resistor actually fell off the board when I opened the front. So that is definitely a problem on these clusters. And that's how I correct it. So I hope that you guys like the content. Please don't forget to subscribe. Again, that helped my small business and my channel tremendously. So, and I appreciate if you do so for free. So if you want to help me, that is a very, very easy way to do it. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.